Of all the kingdoms in the sun-dappled, coral-strewn realms of the cerulean sea, no mare was more vain than Queen Seraphina of the glimmering shoals. Her vanity was not born of simple pride, but of a deep, gnawing insecurity that festered like a poisoned sea urchin. To prove once and for all that her line was the most beautiful in the ocean, she decreed the first ever royal merpageant. The announcement rippled through the currents. A contest of beauty, grace, and poise. The royal trumpet fish proclaimed, "The winner shall be crowned the fairest of the fin, and receive a priceless pearl from the queen's own crown." From every corner of the kingdom, mermaids arrived. There were sirens from the abyssal trenches with hair like silvery ink, river sprites with fins of delicate, translucent lace, and tropical beauties adorned with living bioluminescent anemones that pulsed with soft light. They preened and practiced their smiles, their tail flips, and their elegant gliding passes before the judging dais. The judges were the most esteemed in the realm, a venerable old walrus for wisdom, a sharp-eyed seahorse for detail, and Queen Seraphina herself, whose cold appraising gaze missed nothing. On the edge of the bustling contest grounds, away from the shimmering scales and practiced performances, was Coral. Coral was not a traditional beauty. Her tail was not a brilliant jewel tone, but the soft, dappled grey-green of sunken stones, speckled with patterns that mimicked the sandy seafloor. Her hair was not sleek and flowing, but a wild, curly mane, the colour of rusted anchor chain, often tangled with bits of stray seaweed. While the other contestants practiced their poses, Coral was busy. She was helping a clumsy hermit crab find a new shell that didn't pinch. She was untangling a lost baby dolphin from a discarded fishing net, her strong, clever fingers working deftly. She was replanting a field of sea lilies that a careless contestant's flamboyant tail flip had uprooted. She only decided to enter at the pleading of the small creatures she called friends. "Your heart is the most beautiful thing in the shoal," a pufferfish insisted, puffing up with conviction. "You should show them." So Coral entered, and on the day of the pageant, she felt utterly out of place. She had no sparkling accessories, no practiced talent. She simply swam to the starting line, her humble tail seeming dull next to the dazzling rainbows around her. The competition commenced. One by one, the mermaids displayed their breathtaking beauty. They sang haunting melodies that made the water vibrate, performed intricate dances with flowing silks, and answered the judges' questions with rehearsed eloquence about tides and moon phases. When Coral's turn came, she simply swam forward. She didn't do a flashy flip. She just was. The walrus squinted. The seahorse tapped his fin. Queen Seraphina raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow, a smirk playing on her lips. Then came the talent portion. A mermaid from the tropics summoned a whirlwind of glittering fish that spun around her in a perfect, shimmering vortex. The crowd gasped. Coral knew she could never compete with that. Her talent was quieter. She swam to the edge of the dais where a damaged patch of brain coral lay, bleached and broken. The other merfolk watched, confused. Coral closed her eyes, placed her hands gently on the coral, and began to hum. It wasn't a siren's song. It was a low, warm, nurturing vibration, like the very pulse of the ocean. As she hummed, a miraculous thing happened. Color began to seep back into the coral, soft pinks and vibrant blues. Tiny polyps emerged, stretching and growing at an impossible rate. Fragments knitted together. Within moments, a thriving, magnificent head of coral bloomed, where there had been only death. A stunned silence fell over the crowd. Then a slow building wave of clicks, whistles, and cheers erupted from the watching sea life. Finally, the judges asked their question. Queen Seraphina leaned forward, her voice dripping with condescension. "Little mermaid," she said, "beauty fades, grace can falter. What, in your opinion, is the one quality that truly lasts?" The other contestants had spoken of eternal youth, of flawless scales, of legendary grace. Coral looked at the queen, then at the vibrant coral she had just healed, then at the myriad of small, ordinary fish watching her with hope in their eyes. She smiled, a genuine, warm smile that crinkled the corners of her sea-green eyes. "Compassion," she said, her voice clear and steady. "A perfect tale can be scarred. A lovely voice can fall silent, but a kind heart, its echoes never fade. It grows like coral, building upon itself until it becomes a reef that shelters the entire ocean." The old walrus let out a soft, deep sigh of approval. The seahorse nodded vigorously. Queen Seraphina sat perfectly still, her own perfect face unreadable. The deliberation was brief. When the walrus announced the winner, the name echoed through the water. Coral of the sunken meadows. The crowd of merfolk was surprised, but the eruption of joy from the octopuses, the starfish, the crabs, and the fish was deafening. They swarmed Coral, not with polite applause, but with genuine, ecstatic celebration. As Coral approached the dais, Queen Seraphina descended. For a moment, Coral feared her wrath, but the Queen's haughty expression had softened into something more complex, a look of wistful understanding. She removed the luminous, milky white pearl from her crown. "You are right, child," the Queen said, her voice quieter than it had been all day. "I sought a reflection on the surface, but true beauty lies in the depths." She placed the pearl in Coral's hand. "This belongs to you. Your compassion has built a reef in this court today, and I find myself sheltered by it." Coral didn't place the pearl in her wild hair or on her modest tail. Instead, she swam to the newly healed brain Coral and gently nestled the pearl within its vibrant branches. It glowed there, a heart of light in a thriving community. Coral was crowned the fairest of the fin, not for the beauty of her scales, but for the beauty of her spirit. And her reign was the most beloved the kingdom had ever known, for she understood that the true prize was not a pearl, but the ability to make the whole ocean shine a little brighter. The end. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.